Hello, hello, hello. Happy Thursday. How are you guys doing today? You guys having a good Thursday? Well, probably some of you are watching this Friday morning. So if you're watching this on Friday morning, getting ready for your day, having your morning coffee, doing your makeup, getting ready for work, cooking breakfast, I hope you guys are having a fantastic Friday. But if you're watching this on Thursday night, before you go to bed or you're relaxing or whatever, I hope that you're having a wonderful Thursday evening. I am having a wonderful Thursday evening. I've been kind of waiting a little bit for the dogs to lay down. They've been a little rambunctious today. It's funny because I can kind of tell when they're starting to like wind down a little bit. At first it was like, I think it was like Walter that did it first, and then like Otis, and then it was like kind of transitioned to Otis. Now it's like they both kind of do it at the same time. So, you know, we go out several times a day and then they come inside, and when they come inside, it's just like they just run and run and run. But then towards the end of the day, I can kind of tell that they're like, they kind of start going over their bed, and then they'll like, Walter will lay there. He has this one like long like rope, like braided rope toy, and he'll just kind of lay there in bed. He's like, she's on it, and then I'll look over, and then he's like asleep. And then Otis like goes over and he like curls right next to him. And they're so sweet. So I've been kind of waiting for like the last half an hour, because if I keep on getting up, like, and I go into the kitchen or whatever, like they'll get up. I can tell because it's when I get up and they don't get up that they're like asleep for their like afternoon nap. So I got up and I went into the kitchen and I was like, okay, I'm gonna make some coffee. So I went into the kitchen and they didn't get up, and I was kind of like looking back over at their bed and stuff like that. And Walter was like kind of like one-eyeing me, and Otis was completely out, and they were like right on top of each other. So I was like, okay, this is the perfect time. I've been waiting and waiting and waiting. They've been running laps around the house. They're so cute. They've been doing so good today. And today they were so excited because I think it's because it's such a nice day today. My phone is inside and I am uploading my video on my drama channel, so I don't have my phone out here. When I came out here, it was, I think it was like right at, I looked at the microwave, 424, 425. I think it's probably like upper 70s, low 80s today. I don't know. It's really nice. It feels very fallish today. It's partly cloudy, but there's been a lot of sun. My neighbor was outside next door, the World Travelers, and he was doing yard work today. And then my neighbor across the street, the griller, he was outside doing stuff today too. And so when I was taking the dogs outside and we were doing leash training, they were so excited because they're both really, really friendly with the dog. Well, everybody's been so friendly with the dogs, but so we went over there and we saw him first, and then we went across the street and we got to see the griller and all this kind of stuff. And so they get real excited when they see the neighbors. Like they sit in the grass, and as soon as somebody comes out, they're like, they're ready to go, you know, and see them and stuff like that. So it makes me happy. They're getting pretty socialized. That was like one of the things that I was worried about, but they're getting really socialized really well. So it's been a good day so far. It was interesting what happened. I ended up filming a drama video, and then I came out here and I sat and I filmed a review video and my Peterisms video. And my plan was to go back inside and I was going to film a TV video and a movie video. And I went inside, I was going to film something else too. What's the other video that I was going to film? But I went inside and I was just kind of like, okay, I'm done for the day. I'm going to film my vlog. It's early. I'm going to film my vlog, and then I'm just going to relax for the rest of the night. I'm going to read. I didn't get to read as much last night as I wanted to, and I didn't finish the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. So I was like, I am going to get my vlog done. It'll be done by 5:30ish, and so then I can render it and feed the pups their dinner. We can go outside a couple times, and then I can, like, you know, Alex, when he comes home, I'm going to take my walk tonight. And so yeah, so I'm really excited to just like, I started a new show last night. I'm still watching Billionaire's Bunker. I've got big plans. I got big plans for the night, so I'm real excited about it. But today I woke up and so I had therapy at 2 today, and I got a really good night's sleep last night. Really, really good night's sleep. And I kind of stayed up late last night. So I started watching Wayward, the new show on Netflix with Toni Collette. And I watched like an episode and a half, and then I looked at the clock and it was like 5 o'clock, and I was like, you need to go to bed. So I went to bed at like 5 o'clock, and then Alex left, I think it was like at 7:30. And I went and got the dogs, and I took them out, and then I brought them up to bed. They were so tired this morning. It was so cute. It was actually kind of a little chilly this early this morning. And so I took them outside, and then I brought them back to bed. And so when I bring them back to bed, like I bring like one of their small beds up on the bed, and it's funny because like Otis doesn't usually sleep in it, Walter does, and then I bring their blankets up there, and then I bring like 5 of their toys. Sometimes they'll like play a little bit and they go back to sleep, but usually they go like right back to sleep on the bed. And today it was like Walter like curled. It's like this bed is like this big. It's like too small for Walter, but I think he likes it because it's so small. And so he curled up in this little small bed, and I like pull it right next to me, and they're both of them like super like affection, like they want a lot of attention and affection, and so they sleep real close to me. It's real cute. And so then he was there, and then Otis, so I had it, if I was like laying right here, like the bed was like right next to me, and then Otis came and slept kind of like in between the pillows where Boo Radley did. And I had my alarm set, I think I had it set for 11, and the alarm went off, and I like hit it like real quick, and I like looked over, and they didn't wake up. So I was like, I quickly like grabbed the my phone, and I like reset it for like 11:45. So we slept till 11:45 today, so it was good. So I got up, took them outside, and we did leash training today. And so the leash training is getting a little bit better. Well, Walter's good on the leash. Like Walter could like take a walk on the leash. Otis, like, he just doesn't love the leash at all. He just doesn't at all. He doesn't love it. And I even like watched videos on YouTube about like leash training. I've read articles about it. He just doesn't like it, you know? So, but no, we've had a good day. So anyway, my plan was that I had therapy at 2. So I was like, well, maybe if I can film like a video or 2 before therapy, and then when I get done with therapy, I can, like I'll just film like a drama video and then like my TV and movie video. I was going to film like my review video, my Peterisms video before I did therapy. Therapy was good today. It was really relaxing, had a great conversation. And so I got done with therapy. I just felt so... Therapy for me often is, not always, like if we're talking about really difficult situations, sometimes it kind of like lingers a little bit. But today it was like, it was a really therapeutic session. I felt, it was very cathartic. And when I got done with therapy today, I just felt like, I don't know, I just felt good. It feels a lot like, well, I kind of equate it to like when, I know this is probably a strange analogy, but when I've never really gotten this feeling from church, but I have gotten it from leaving like a 12-step meeting, that I just feel like full of the Spirit, and I just feel hopeful and just really positive and centered and focused and very clear-headed and just good. Like I feel really good, you know? And early, like especially early on when I got sober, I really, really felt that way about meetings a lot. Like most meetings that I went to when I first got sober, I would leave and I would just be like, I just felt so good. And I can remember thinking to myself, I mean, this is like early, or this is, you know, 95, early days of 95, because my sobriety birthday is December 17th of 94. So I got out of treatment, you know, in January. But anyway, so this would have been early days of going to meetings. And I can remember like leaving the meeting and it would be like snowing outside and whatever, you know, and I'd be like, I don't know, I just felt so like, so good. And I can remember thinking, this must be how people feel that leave church and they get this I felt very spiritual. I don't know that I necessarily connected it to any kind of like higher power or God, you know, but I just felt very like full of soul, full of spirit, hopeful, just really, really hopeful. And I can remember thinking, this must be how people feel like when they go to church and they have some kind of connection there, you know, and I had never felt that with church. It actually, you know, it's interesting because I can remember, and I've talked about this before on here, I can remember that, I'm like, do I really want to get in a whole conversation about this today? Somebody said something the other day on my video. I asked for like what you guys like me to talk about, and they said, well, kind of like when you like, somebody said something about when you reflect on your past or talk about, so I guess I can do that. But, you know, like this spiritual journey that I've been on in my life has been really, really interesting for me. You know, I've talked a lot about it from time to time, so I don't want to bore people with the same old story. By the way, I'm trying to go through the very last blueberry crumble K-cups that I have. So I had like 7, and now I have like 4 left after this. This is blueberry K-cups because I've been using all like the fall ones. Oh my God, those fall ones that I bought, the pumpkin marshmallow, and what's that? The caramel apple I absolutely love. The candy corn is like my favorite. But I've been using them every day and every night. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do the blueberry for last night I had one, and then today I'm having one. So I can't remember what this brand is. It's like Harbor Coast or something like that, but I do like this brand of Keurig K-Cup coffee. But anyway, I can remember going to church when I was growing up, and I don't really ever remember ever being, I don't know, maybe it had a lot to do with my parents' attitude about religion and spirituality. But my parents never, like, the church that I went to was like not brimstone and fire. It was very like open-minded church. I grew up Lutheran. The church that I belonged to when I was younger no longer exists in Indianapolis. It was called Our Redeemer Lutheran. It's at 38th and Park. It was downtown. It's beautiful, stained glass. I think the church still exists, but there's like, they don't have, it doesn't like, it's not a working entity anymore. And, but I don't remember like my parents never were like, you have to believe this, or you're going to hell if you don't. It was never like that. My parents were always kind of like, we want you to believe what you want to believe. But I did grow up going to Sunday school and going to church and all that kind of stuff. My mom taught Sunday school, so after Sunday school when I was with my mom, for a long time my parents went to, even when they were separated, they went to the same church. And then my mom would teach Sunday school, and then we would go to the service together, you know, with the sermon and things like that and the hymns. And I don't know that I ever, like when I was younger, like I didn't really connect with any of the Bible stories. They just felt like parables to me, like stories. I don't really, even from like a young age, I'm talking up till about 12 or 13, ever remembering like, do you believe, do you not believe? I don't really, I think I had been like agnostic for a really, really long time. Like even before I knew what that word meant. Like I believe in something, but I'm not really sure what that is. And I don't know that it belongs in a church, you know. Like I love the bumper sticker that says, a car doesn't have to be in a garage to be in a car, and a Christian doesn't have to be in a church to be a Christian. Like, I think, like, however you define your spiritual beliefs or whatever, but, like, I think that you don't have to be in a church or a temple to be a spiritual person. That was something that I did believe from a very, like, young age. And so, but I don't really remember, like, having lots of thoughts about it. I do remember talking to my mom a lot about it. My mom was very, very well educated in world religions. Not just Christianity, but a lot of world religions, and read a lot of books, and had taken a lot of classes in college and graduate school, and was very interested in all of that. And so, and my dad as well was very well versed in it. My dad still reads books about all kinds of religious backgrounds, and is really interested in world religions and how they make the world work and all that kind of stuff. So, this is the same car that I thought was Caroline's yesterday. This is somebody in my neighborhood must have the exact same car as Caroline. Well, that one, they went the other way. So anyway, I can remember going to church and like, I think it was like 15 or 16 when my parents kind of left it up to me if I wanted to go. I don't remember how old I was, but I do remember that at that age, I think 15 or 16, I had these two friends of mine that were twins. I'm still friends with them today. They were like my best friends in high school. And they were Catholic, and their parents said they had, I have to move this pillow. I didn't move it before I started. And their parents said that they had to go to church every week. And so they and like their parents were like involved in the church. And they went to like, in Carmel where I grew up, there were like two huge churches. There was like Our Lady of Mount Carmel, and then there was a St. Elizabeth Seton. And so everybody in Carmel went to like one of those two Catholic churches. I think Our Lady of Mount Carmel is a lot bigger than St. Elizabeth Seton. I've been to meetings at all those churches today. So there's a lot more Catholic churches than that in Indianapolis, obviously. But in Carmel, there was more Catholic churches than that in Carmel. But those were like the two big ones. And so the church that they went to, like their mom and dad were very, very involved in it. And so they on Saturday night, they would have like a 6 o'clock, a 7 o'clock, a 8 o'clock, a 9 o'clock, and a 10 o'clock service. And Sunday morning, it was like, they had Saturday, and so I can remember they'd be like, oh, we have to go to this church service just to get it done. And then they would go to like the 6 o'clock on like a Saturday so that they could like go out Saturday night, not have to get up early on Sunday morning. But like their parents were involved with the church. So like if they didn't go, their parents knew that they didn't go. So anyway, like I never had that from my parents. Like I can remember, I don't even remember it that strongly, but me like not wanting to, and really to be honest with you, it wasn't like a disbelief in anything that I stopped going to church. It was that I really didn't want to get up to go to church, was really what it was. And I don't think my mom forced the issue. And by then, my dad had stopped going to church. I can remember when I was young and my parents got separated, if we didn't go to church and I was with my dad for the weekend, we used to watch that. I look back on this, I think this is so funny. Because, like, some Sundays we would wake up, and if he was on call or something, we had been out late on, but he would, like, I think both my parents felt like it was important to raise me with some kind of, like, spiritual religiosity, and that whatever I chose to believe, as long as it was of a positive nature, then I could. I really did not, I came out here today to vlog, and I was like, didn't even really do anything today. I don't really have a lot to talk about. I was like, what am I going to talk about today? I had no clue I was going to go down this road. But anyway, maybe it's just, today feels like a God moment kind of day. It's just a beautiful day outside. I feel very, to me today, like, I do believe in a higher power, and I do believe a higher power is active in my life, and that higher power, I call God, it acts very much to me in ways of nature. I look at this and I just think there has to be something to all of this, is how I feel, And I'm not saying anybody else has to believe that, but that's just how I feel. But I can remember, like, when I was with my dad on weekends, this was when I was like 7 or 8, and if we didn't go to church, then my dad was like, we're going to watch the Crystal, do you guys remember Robert Schuller or whatever his name was in the Crystal Cathedral? We would watch that. Which then I found out later, when I got sober, that one of my friends went to LA. Was she living there at the time? Or she lived there later and had a friend. She was sober too. And, like, they would have 12-step meetings at the Crystal Cathedral. And they would bring down, like, for people's birthdays. Because a lot of times they'll bring birthday cake to meetings for people's birthday. Like, for my birthday, Tanya always brings a cake. So then they would have, like, 10 sheet cakes in front. And they would just, like, read off everybody's, birthday. I thought that was kind of cool. So anyway. So I can remember we would do that, but, like, neither one of my parents really ever forced the issue. I remember having a lot of, like, I would say more like intellectual religious conversations about beliefs, about kindness, compassion, forgiveness. Not so much like, you have to believe this, or it says in the Bible. I never had those conversations with my parents. My parents never had those conversations with me, like, it says in the Bible this. In fact, later I found out that, like, my dad went to Procreal Lutheran Church school, and they had to memorize, like, every week Bible verses. And so my dad is, like, very educated on the Bible. And I can remember years later when I came out, he had gotten into it with somebody, I think it was in surgery or something, like with another doctor. Somebody, like, started spouting off, like, religious rhetoric or biblical rhetoric to my dad, and my dad was just like, it did not get nasty about it at all, but just was like, and it says here this. And my dad knows the Bible really, really well, but I don't remember ever having, like, those conversations never occurred to me. My parents always said, you believe in what you want to believe in as long as it's something positive. And so I don't remember having any kind of, like, spiritual, how did I start this whole conversation? I'm, like, thinking through my mind how I ever even started this conversation. I'll come to it here in a second, but I remember going, I don't really remember going to church with my dad so much. I don't know why. But I remember, I think, like, after a while, my mom was real involved in our church. So I think after a while, my dad just stopped going to that church. My mom at the end she was part of 2 Lutheran churches here in Indianapolis. She actually grew up Episcopalian. And she was always really proud of that church because it was the first church in Indianapolis to marry a gay couple. She was always really proud of that. And the first one to have a female pastor. But I can remember, like, I don't remember leaving that church with my mom and having, I've talked about, like, Rosalind Bakery and going home and having lunch. I don't remember having, like, a religious or spiritual feeling, like, from the service or from Sunday school when I would leave. But I do remember leaving with my mom and just having this very wholesome, homey feeling on Sundays that it was hope for the week ahead. And I think to this day that has lingered with me. And that has been one of the reasons why I love Sundays to this day. And I don't even do those things that I used to do then. But I can remember, like, just getting up, going to church, and then we would come home and, stop at the bakery. It was the whole thing for me. I think it just felt like a new week is starting and, enjoying all Sunday going into the new week and whatever. I don't know. And then when I was in high school, I remember getting, like, really interested in tarot cards and stuff like that. My dad bought me tarot cards. I can remember my mom was a little weird about it, and then my dad talked to her about it, and he's like, it's going to last, like, he told me later, he's like, it's going to last, like, a month. It lasted, like, a month, I didn't have any clue what I was doing. But anyway, but I did. I got really, interested and, tarot cards and psychic readings. I'm still interested in that to this day. I think when I was in high school and, I was listening to like a lot of like folk music that my mom had introduced me to, I read a lot about, like, my mom had introduced me to books about like Buddhism and things like that. How did I start this video? Why did I start talking about this? And I feel like I need to rewind this and I can't remember. But anyway, well, I was talking about Sylvia Browne earlier in my drama video, so maybe that's what got me thinking about this today. But I can remember, like, I was very much what they call, like, foxhole prayers, like, at the end of my using. Not even at the end of my using, I wouldn't say that spirituality or higher power or anything was anything I ever even was on my radar at all, unless I got into trouble. And then I was like, God, I swear to God, I'm like, this is it. Like, I'm changing. Foxhole prayers. So I think what they call them. And then I got sober, and I like wanted to get it so right. Like, I wanted to get it so right. And I can remember at the beginning, there's like a line in our text that says that a God either is or he isn't. And I even got messed up with that, like the he part of it. Which, I mean, in recovery, it's like he, she, whatever you want to, however you identify it. And I can remember, like, finally the sponsor that I had at that time was like, threw the book down and was like, God either is, because I was like, I had to be perfect about what does God look like and what is God and all this kind of stuff. And he's like, God either is there. I was like, he is. But I didn't really fully believe it. This is what, I can feel this is, like, familiar to me, what I'm about to say, so this is maybe where it started. I never internalized it. Like, I never had this internalized feeling of, like, I can remember going to church when I was, like, growing up, and that wholesome, if you want to call it a spiritual feeling, like a positive feeling, a hopeful feeling, that's kind of where this conversation started, wasn't it? I don't even remember now. But anyway, was all because of, like, the day, and people seemed happy at church, and we were dressed up, and then we would go home and have lunch. It just seemed wholesome. I liked that feeling, that cozy. It was cozy, I think I relate coziness to that, to some degree, of that, whatever. Hope. It was hopeful. It was, I think, I'm a big believer in hope. I think hope can go a long way. But I never internalized it. I can remember being in high school, and a lot of the people that I went to school with, I went to a public school, but a lot of the people that I went to school with were very involved with this huge youth group here in town. It was not a Catholic youth group. It was a different youth group. And, I mean, there were tons of people that were involved in this youth group. And I can remember they would take this trip, like, between, like, your junior and senior year, where you, like, walk the steps of, like, that Jesus had walked or whatever, and, like, but you started it, like, your freshman year. And they would, like, come to school and they'd be like, you need to come to our youth group, you need to come to, I mean, everybody would do this youth group, I can remember. It was, like, a huge deal. There was, like, 4 different church youth groups at the high school, not from the high school, but like at churches surrounding there. And the school that I went to, people were really involved in church and really involved in athletics. And so, but I remember, like, people talk, like, I can remember being in class and people being, like, from this youth group being, like, saying stuff about, like, the Lord and, Jesus this and whatever. I can remember thinking, they are such phonies. Like, they do not believe this. I had never had that internalized feeling. Like, never in my life. Like, I'd always kind of wanted it. I'd always wanted to experience, like, that burning bush kind of feeling. That, like, spiritual experience. Like, I'd always wanted to feel that feeling. But I had never felt it. And I don't think it's something that you can fake. I think you have to have that feeling. I can say I've since had that feeling in my life at different times, where I feel like I've had a spiritual awakening or a spiritual experience, but I hadn't at that time. I had never felt anything even remotely close to it. So when people would share their experience with me, I think this is part of why, like, when people, like, want to witness to you or whatever, like, if you haven't had that experience, like, it's kind of like, they're not going to get it if they haven't had it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know really how to explain that. But, and I think, like, coming close to my bottom was also a big part of, like, my spiritual awakening to me. So, anyway, flash forward. Like, in 12-step programs, the second step is, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. And so, that's just the idea of, like, we believe in something that's bigger than us. The third step is made a decision to turn our life and our will over the care of God as we understood him or her or whatever. But it says him in the steps. And And what that means is made a decision to turn my life and my will. So that's everything. That's not just like, okay, that's like you're turning everything over to God. And that's the third step. And there's a prayer that we do with the third step prayer. I've talked about this with my mom, because the third step prayer, which is about surrender, that was the prayer that my friend read when my mom was in the hospital. And then like after she got done reading it, my mom flatlined. It's like that prayer to me means so much. And then my friend read that at my mom's funeral. And the prayer is about remove me from bondage of self. It's basically about being selfless and being of service to higher power and things like that, and what God wants for you and whatever. But I can remember hearing those things, and they just didn't resonate with me. They just didn't mean anything to me at all. I never had this internalized feeling, never. I never had it. And so I remember that my sponsor at the time was like, do you believe that there's a higher power? And I was like, I believe that there's something. I think this is where I was talking about earlier about, like, I'd always kind of been agnostic. Like, I always believed that there was something out there, always. I just couldn't really put my finger on it. And in all honesty, when people are like, I know that this for a fact, I'm like, how do you know that for a fact? I'm very, evidence-based. I'm like, how do you know that for a fact when you've never seen it, And I think that that's really, truly the definition of faith, right? But that's how I was. I was very, my mom and dad raised me to question everything, and do your own investigation. And I'm proud of the fact that they raised me that way, but it's kind of like a mindfuckery a little bit when it comes to spiritual beliefs. And so I was like, I wanted it to be like, I knew for a fact that this is what I believed. And I never had that internalized feeling. And so he was like, we're going to come back to this later. As long as you you believe in something, and there's even we talk about we agnostics and stuff like that. I mean, in 12-step programs, we talk about agnosticism and all that. But anyway, he's like, we're going to come back to this later. So about 2 years sober was when I started working on my spiritual journey. And he asked me, he said, what is your biggest fear? And I said, death. He said, death is your biggest fear? I said, 100%. It's weird what changed for me with that. And I can remember talking to my mom a lot about death. My mom, my mom's dad died when she was 4. My mom had done her master's dissertation on bereavement and abandonment issues related to a parent dying young. And my mom would talk to me about feeling like she was orphaned when her dad died. And then when her mom died, she definitely felt that way. And my mom, I think I was in high school and my mom introduced me to the book Death and Dying by Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. I mean, my mom, that was something we talked about on a regular basis. My mom was not afraid to talk about death. I was terrified of death. And I can remember my mom saying to me, as sad as this is, but when one of us, your mom or dad, pass away, you won't be as scared of it anymore, because when you go through it, you kind of realize it's this inevitable thing anyway. And the sad part about that is it took my mom's passing for me to really, I think, accept and understand that death is part of life. I don't really know how to explain it. I don't really know what moment it was for me. I do remember that when everybody left the room after my mom passed away, because I can remember, after that, I had seen Charlotte's Web, which is, I think, the one with Julia Roberts, where she's talking about it. And I thought about this because there's something about the cycle of life in that movie they talk about. And I can remember being in the hospital room, everybody had left, and they're like, let's give Peter a couple minutes with his mom. And it was just me and my mom. And my mom had said to me before, this was really, really helpful to me. When she knew she was sick, she was like, and years before that, she had said it too. She was like, when I'm gone, don't get attached to my body. My mom very much believed in the saying that it's my body is just a shell for my soul. I'm just a bag of soul, is what my mom would say. She's like, please do not get attached to my body. When I'm gone, I am not there. That is not me. And so when my mom passed, I really thought it would be this moment of I thought there would be a moment where I knew it. You see in movies where oh my God, she's gone, and trumpets not trumpets blaring, but you can just see the light. There was really never that moment where I was other than hearing it on the machine, and then them coming in and turning everything off. But there was really never that moment from one second to the next where I knew she's not there anymore. In all honesty, because my mom was in a coma, in retrospect, I don't know, but I can just remember thinking that I remember holding her hand and looking down at her hand. This is how this vlog has been so helpful to me through the years. If you guys have watched for a long time, back in the day, I would share a lot of these stories, like my first couple years vlogging, and the camera stopped. Am I at 30 minutes already? I have no plan on talking about this today. You guys, I was like, I'm gonna talk about what TV shows I watched last night. Anyway, but if you watched me for a long time, like my first year, I talked a lot about this, and it was so cathartic and helpful for me. You guys really allowed me to have a space to grieve, I think, a lot back in the day. I really appreciate that. And so I can remember being in the hospital room with my mom. It was real dark, I remember, in there, and I was holding my mom's hand. I just kind of like looked down at her. And I thought there would, I didn't literally think there'd be like this moment of trumpets blaring and she's entered into the kingdom of heaven. Like, I didn't really believe that. Like, I would hear that. But I thought there'd be something. I thought there would be like some moment where like I could see her cross over. Not literally, but like I would just know. There really wasn't. And so I can remember I was like holding her hand. And I just remember thinking to myself, we're born, we live, and we die, and what we put in the middle of it is ours. I mean, that was literally what I thought in that moment. And I can remember leaving there and driving home and listening to Bob Dylan, Mr. Tambourine Man, on the way home, and I wasn't as afraid of death anymore after that. I don't really know how to explain it. I don't know how to explain it at all. I missed my mom horribly. But I think one thing that became it was unavoidable for all of us. And I think the harder that I tried to push it away, I think it's also one of the reasons why I accept aging. I think more than I know some people do. People, about, like, they're like, well, the wrinkles on your forehead, we can't, it's inevitable. We're all going to age. We're all going to get older. The skin's going to hang from our arms. Okay. It's inevitable, And I think I just kind of I think acceptance was a huge part of that for me. This huge acceptance of, I can't change that, I remember having this conversation with my mom years and years and years ago. My mom would ask me to go to church with her all the time. She'd say, please, just for like Mother's Day or whatever. And we would have these discussions about it, and we would talk about spirituality, and I say, spirituality to me is like having the windows down, listening to loud music, let the wind, the breeze in my hair kind of thing. Like, that's, spirituality to me. Standing in the grass, watching the dogs, seeing the moon at night, Sometimes when I'm sitting here doing my prayers at night, I'll walk out and look at the moon and the stars. And I literally I know God is not like literally up there in heaven, like in the moon and the stars, but sometimes that makes me feel closer to kind of a spiritual belief. I don't know why. I just think it's so beautiful and it's so overwhelming that, to me, I find a lot of godliness in nature, which I always kind of have, even though I've not been really a nature person most of my life. But just in watching the birds and the squirrels and the animals and stuff, it's just like there has to be something there. Like, that can't just be random to me, And I can remember too, I've talked about this before, the movie Continental Divide with John Belushi. My mom loved that movie. And it's about this, I haven't watched it in years. It's about this reporter from the Chicago Sun-Times, and he goes to kind of hide out, but also, if I remember correctly, to do a article on this woman that's doing these bald eagles in the Rockies. And I almost said Canadian Rockies because my dad used to go hiking in the Canadian Rockies every year. And so he goes up there and he's smoking and he's heavy and has a hard time walking around and stuff like that, and drinks a lot and whatever. And so this one day he's trying to follow her everywhere, and he's like, where are you going? She's like, come with me. And he's like, where are we going? She goes to church. And they're walking. And so finally he's like, and finally they stop, and she goes, there it is. And he goes, what? And she goes, there's God, there's church. And she kind of goes like that. That was the moment that my mom, when we were in the mountains, and she goes, this is God. That's really what she was referencing, was that scene in Continental Divide when she looks over the Grand Canyon and she's like, this is church, whatever she says in that moment. I'm a big believer in that, I don't know, there's just a synchronicity to everything and how it works. I don't ever presume to understand it, I remember listening to this So in recovery, we do like speaker leads, which is where you tell your story. And there's a lot of them online, and I download them, and people pass around CDs and tapes still to each other. I'm like, somebody the other day was like, they're like, I have the tapes at home. I'm like, I don't even know where I would listen to a tape. Like, I'd have to pull out some old Walkman or something like that. But I remember listening to this lead years ago. I have no idea who did it, but it was this woman, and she was talking about being on the beach, I think like in Hawaii or something, and she just could not, like, for the life of her, she was questioning everything, and she could not get this concept of a higher power, you know? And she met this older woman that was sober too. And the woman was like, look at everybody on the beach. And they were all like running around and jumping in the water. And she's like, something's missing from you. And she's like, it's like you have this huge umbrella up. This like so resonated with me at the time that I heard this. This was when I came back to going to meetings. I was listening to a lot of leads. And she said, it's like you have this huge umbrella up that is keeping you from the sunlight of the spirit. And the sunlight of the spirit is kind of sometimes what they reference to, like God's love kind of thing, or higher power love. And she was like, but I feel like I need to understand. I think this is one thing that has so helped me and my whole like God concept and spiritual beliefs, that when people want to come to me and be like, this is what it says and this is what you should believe, blah, 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 whatever. And I so remember what this woman said about what this older woman said to her. And she said, but I don't know what I believe. I don't understand it. And she said, for you to act that you're going to understand anything about what God's intentions or God's plan is means that you are bigger than any God that is out there. And you're not. So therefore, you're not going to understand what God's plan, intention, or anything is. You just need to know that there's a God and you're not it. And that was like so powerful to me. I don't need to understand everything. I don't even need to know what my God looks like, or what my God speaks, or what my God understands. I don't need to understand any of that. Sometimes I just need to sit and look and go, wow, like the sun coming through the trees, and that somebody painted that, and 1,000 years ago, a very similar picture, and we're connected through the sunlight going through the trees. Like, that is powerful to me, right? Like, that's human connection. So I don't know. Forever on this journey, the spiritual journey. I think I will say this, I don't question as much anymore. I don't question as much as I used to. I don't have as many questions, honestly, I don't. I have feelings, and I have emotions, and I have reactions to things, but I don't have as many, questions about things. I know that when I talk about like, for years I didn't have a spiritual foundation, and I just kind of say that expecting that people understand that. I think what that means is like, my spiritual foundation today consists of a safe space of peace and serenity, of love and compassion and forgiveness and understanding. I'm not there all the time, okay? Like, let's make it very clear. Like, I have to use a lot of tools to get to that safe space, mentally and emotionally. But that's where I would like to live most of the time. I think much of my life I've been derailed by anger, hatred, resentment in the past. A need to be right instead of a need to be happy. A need to let people know who had wronged me. I don't have that need as much today. And the more that I focus on getting to that safe space of peace, the less important it is to me. Because all of that just derails me, you know? And I think I'm like in my head. Like, I sometimes like, one of the common thoughts I kept on having after the accident was, I shouldn't be here, I shouldn't be here, I shouldn't be here, I should be dead, I should be dead, I should be dead, I should be dead. And I think to a point where I couldn't think that anymore. Like, if I were gonna be here, I had to like that wasn't, I've had to do a lot of work and process through that. But I did feel that way for a very, very long time. What I know today is that I am here. And if I'm going to be here, I'm not going to waste my time here. And I think to live every day in anger, fear, panic, I think it's important to be aware. But to live every day in panic, fear, worry, I think also apathy, and not work on things like love, compassion, forgiveness, understanding, I think derails me from getting to that point of peace. Each of us only has so many days left on this earth. We all know that. We act as if we don't. I think most of us act like we don't know that. I think when I accepted that was when things started changing for me. When I was like, I can't live in that space anymore. It's not worth it to me. And I'm not saying that I don't get angry. And I'm not saying that I don't get frustrated or resentful, because those are very, very real emotions for any human being, including myself. But I have tools to use today. I can talk to my therapist about it, or my sponsor, or my friends, or my husband, I can talk about it. I can walk it out. I can, do whatever. And so it's been really, really like a lot of work on getting there, but I'm not willing to waste days anymore. Like, I think it's sad that I hope that at the end of my life, I'm not looking back and being like, I spent so much time just centered in anger and wanting to prove somebody wrong. And like, what for? And what if you're successful in that? What if you're successful in being angry your whole life and it was justifiable anger? Because a lot of us are angry because of real shit that happened to us. That's justifiable anger. I have a right to be angry because these things happened to me that were not fair. But I'm the one that pays for that in the end. I'm the one that's staying stuck in anger. I want to work through that stuff. I don't want to stay stuck in anger. I don't want to wake up every day angry. That affects me more than it affects anybody else. What if I do prove that somebody is not a great person or whatever, Okay, so I proved it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, at the end of the day, it's like, I don't find a lot of joy in that stuff. I find joy in taking a walk and seeing like squirrels and rabbits in the yard, or, hanging out with the dogs or Alex, or talking to Tanya or, Nikki on the phone. I mean, Mel and I have been texting some crazy funny stuff to each other. I mean, like, that's where I find enjoyment, and I'm not saying that the rest of it isn't important and that I shouldn't be aware of it, because I think it is important, all of it. But I also think it's important to protect my peace at any expense. For me. I can't tell you what's important for you. But I lived many years of my life, more than 20 or 30, not protecting my peace. And I was not a happy person. And I think it reflected on my life, and I think it reflected on the people around me. And I was like, does she have a Walkman on? She's walking. She's like this whole thing. I was like, does she have a Walkman? After I just said Walkman, it's not. She's got this thing on her phone, her phone connected to her side. I don't know. It's like, even when people get really bent out of shape that you don't believe what they believe spiritually, how does it affect you at all? Like, it doesn't. Like, it does not affect you at all. Believe what you want to believe, It's like, believe what you want to believe, I don't know. It's like, people get real bent out of shape about it. It's like, just because I'm sharing my experience on here doesn't mean that I feel like anybody should believe what I believe. You haven't had my experience. You haven't had my life experience. Believe what you want to believe, Do your own investigation. When I started, so like at 2 years sober was when I started reading stuff. And so my sponsor said to me, what's your biggest fear? And I said, death. And he goes, well, let's find a book that will help you with that. And you know what book I read? The Other Side and Back by Sylvia Brown. I swore by that woman for years until I found out that she was a phony and a fraud. I was so upset. I still kind of love her, honestly, but that book really, really helped me, and it said a lot of things that made sense to me. It talked about, like, deja vu, being like, you're at a point in your blueprint for your life that you're supposed to be at. I don't know, a lot of stuff made sense to me in that book, because all just BS, probably. But then, my mom gave me a lot of books, and she gave me, like, T.S. Eliot books, and The Way of the Way of the Pilgrim, and she gave me a lot of books about Buddhism, and I remember reading, like, The Tao of Pooh, and I don't know, a lot of books that just really, really helped me, and opened my eyes, you know, and what I found was that a common thread between all of it was love, compassion, kindness, understanding, forgiveness. So I don't know what's out there. I don't know. I don't know if there is anything out there. And if I get to the end of my life and it's over and I'm proven wrong and there's nothing, it hasn't hurt my life by believing that there is something out there. I don't need to be right about that. And I think that is what faith is all about. I don't need to be right about all that. I might be completely wrong. And you know what? And if at the end of my life, all it's done is applying meaning to my life or giving me something to give me hope or get me through the tough times because I don't feel alone, or I feel like maybe there's a lesson to be learned in something that I've gone through or that I can find after the fact, or that I have found some love and compassion or question my ability to forgive, and me believing in something has helped me, then at the end, I don't think I've lost by being wrong if there's nothing. I think I've only gained, you know? So I feel like it's a win-win situation for me. You know, one of the things that really helped me in early sobriety, like when I finally got to the point of like, there's gotta be something, is when I remember listening to a lead and this guy said, he was young too, he was like close to my age, and he said, you know, I would put pills, alcohol, anything in my system wanting to make me feel a certain way, but I was never willing to put any kind of spiritual belief in my life. Like I thought it was all bullshit. I would never put it in my life, but I was willing to put any substance in my body to make me believe or feel. I believed in that substance. I didn't even know half the time what it would do, but I would believe that it would do something, but I wasn't willing to put God in my life. And I'm not telling you like what God to believe in. Believe in whatever you want to believe in if it works for you and you're not hurting anybody, you know, but like, I don't know. Was I talking about today? Now today just feels like a God moment kind of day. Maybe that's what I was talking about earlier. I don't know. It's a beautiful day. So anyway, so yeah, therapy. Just felt full of hope. I think that's what I was saying when I got done. Oh, that's how I started the whole conversation. See, I knew it would come to me. Got out of therapy and I felt full of hope, like I did when I was in early sobriety, and that I would relate that feeling to how people must feel when they leave church, is what I was saying. Anyway, that was, what was that, 47 minutes of that? I think I'm right at 47 minutes. That was 47 minutes of explaining all of that, but anyway. I don't really talk a lot about that over here anymore. I used to, a little bit. But I was going to film a bunch of videos before therapy and I didn't. And then when I got done with therapy, I filmed the drama video, and then the dogs were relaxing a little bit. So I came out here and I filmed these 2 videos, and then they were real short. And then went inside, and then as I was uploading those videos, they were running around again. Took them out, then they were running. After I take them outside, they get real energetic. And so then I was kind of like, just like waiting for them to, I was like, okay, I'm going to wait until they like settle down a little bit and they'll come out here and vlog. So then I was kind of like, I'm not going to film anymore today. I had like other videos I was going to film, like I said, my TV video, my movie video. I had a couple TV videos to do because last night I caught up on Life After Lockup. I'm completely caught up. This season is interesting if you're watching it. Like, there's like 3 couples I'm real interested in, like Daniel and Bianca, but I think they're done. She's in Florida and he don't want nothing. He is so rude to her. He is so nasty. That man, he's back in jail now, but he's so disrespectful to her. I mean, I don't love Bianca, but like, nobody deserves to be spoken to that way. But they're interesting to me. Courtney and Will are interesting. Do any of these couples ever stay together? Like, who was the couple from last season? I wanted to look them up last night. Brittany and K-Rock. I really like them. They were like on Love After Lockup and Life After Lockup last season. I'm like, are they still together? But anyway, and Brittany and Marciano. But I heard that they're not together anymore. So anyway, last night I got caught up. I like Will and Courtney because they're just drama. But they're now divorced, I think. Like, she signed the papers and called him the P word and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, the PU word. The Pusal. And she said something about, you're a B, the B-I word, B-I-T. And she said, and I was in prison with 600 of them, so I should know, or 60 of them, or something like that. And he just drove off. But anyway, so they're done. I think it's almost the end of the season because the new season of Love After Lockup comes out January 30th. Nobody really seems interested in my coverage of it, so I don't know if I'll continue doing it, but I will continue watching it because I'm obsessed with the show. But then the other couple that I like, that I'm interested in is, Brooke and JK. That is such a mess. And I was trying to find out what happened last night because his other girlfriend, Alex, is now pregnant, and it's 50% chance that it could be JK's. Brooke is going to lose her mind when she finds out. Oh my God. Well, they're not together anymore. I did find that out online. But she's going to lose her mind on the show. she's driving there right now. That's how the episode ended. Justine and Michael, I'm so over them. And this planning of this ridiculous $60,000 wedding. I figured it all out last night. Because her mom had a $100,000 wedding. I was like, is it raining? I thought I felt rain. Remember yesterday it wasn't supposed to rain at all? And then I don't even know what time it was, but I went upstairs. And, hey you! How are you doing? You're walking fast today. Get it. It's so funny because she always walks by when I'm sitting out here, and then when I'm walking, she's like in her yard working. So I always get to wave to her too. But she's one of the dogs that has the standard poodles. So I gotta try to bring the trash in. What was I saying? I went upstairs and I was like in the bathroom. I was like washing my face and using some of the lotions and stuff like that before I was coming down to watch TV. And it was pouring down rain. I could hear it in the sunlight up there. I was like, oh my God, it's pouring down rain. So it had just started because it stopped real quick. But the dogs, once it's wet, the grass, they do not like going in the grass. So like they lead me all around the they don't want to go in the grass at all. So then it's just like, especially Otis, he doesn't like the wet grass at all. I'm kind of a little worried about the snow this year because we're supposedly having the worst winter ever, which is, that will never happen. But I'm like so hopeful for these, the what do you call it, the battery. We're at 21 minutes on this, 21 minutes and 14 seconds. So what, 51 minutes? I'm like, when does the battery usually go to as soon as I say this, it'll go to the halfway mark. If I can make it to like an hour, then I know that I have the good battery usually. If they get like an hour and 2 minutes, it starts going. But anyway. There's one battery that'll last me till like an hour and 17 minutes. I don't know which one it is. But the one real bad battery I got rid of. So, so yeah, today I was just like, I'm just kind of done. I'm not gonna, because I really want to read and watch shows tonight. So let me tell you why, okay? So last night, got all my business done, the walk-in and the eating and all that kind of stuff. And then Alex was hanging out with the dogs. So I was like, okay, I'm going to lay down and take a little bit of a nap. And I fell asleep with the dogs and Alex and stuff like that. And I got up and I took them out. And I don't remember what time I got up. It was like, did we watch something on TV earlier though? No. I watched part of Love After Lockup while I was eating. And then so I woke up. And when I got up, they were like ready to go. So like I got up and I took them downstairs and stuff like that, took them outside and came inside. It wasn't raining then, so it must have been after that that I went upstairs. Yeah, because I came right downstairs and I didn't like brush my teeth or wash my face or anything. And I got new pajamas from the basement. And so when I got up from my nap, so because I'd taken a shower, my hair was like all crazy and stuff like that, so I was trying to kind of like wet it down and whatever, and that's when I heard the rain. So that was after I'd taken them out the first time. That probably was like a half an hour later. Anyway, so I put on my comfy pajamas and stuff, and I come downstairs, and I usually never lay on the couch unless Alex is sitting in the chair, like if we're watching TV together, then I'll sit on the couch. The couch is real comfortable, but Alex lays on it. I don't usually lay on it. So we have this like body pillow folded over on it. It's like this plaid body pillow that I've had for years. So it's like leaning up there. It's so comfy. So I laid on the couch. I had the kitchen light on, but I didn't have any of the other lights on, and they were kind of running around. And so I was just like kind of watching them, and I was listening to The September House, that book. I'm trying so hard to finish it. I listened to music last night. I didn't like really listen to the book that much, so I was like, okay, I gotta get this book done. I still haven't finished The September House. So I'm laying there listening to it. Oh, my nose is starting to itch. I took my allergy medicine earlier. So I'm laying there listening to this book. Oh, the battery just went to the halfway mark. See, I just said it, and then that happened. So I'm laying there listening to this book, and all of a sudden I'm kind of like this. And I look, and Walter goes and he lays down, and then like 2 seconds later, Otis was like chewing on his like crinkle, what do you call it, lamb chop, and then he like took it over the bed, and then he laid down, and I was like, I'm just gonna like, take my AirPods out and so I took them out and I like laid them down next to me and I paused the book. I woke up and it was like 1:30. I was like, I fell asleep on the couch. Alex had the fan upstairs on. I don't know if that was just like soothing to me and I was seeing the dark. Do you ever like fall asleep places that you never fall asleep? And then you're like, oh my God, this is so comfy. Well, that's what happened because I never sleep on that couch, like hardly ever. And so I fell asleep on the couch and I was like, oh my God, this is so comfy, like right here. So I fell asleep on the couch and I woke up at like 1:30 and then I was like, oh my God, like I need to, like I wanted to read. I wanted to finish Pumpkin Spice Cafe. I wanted to start the Frida McFadden book. I wanted to read the James Patterson book because I bought all these books yesterday. So I was like, I'm still going to read a little bit. So I read like 3 chapters Well, I read the first chapter of the Frida McFadden book. It's called Do Not Disturb. It's about this. Her books, I don't, like, I've listened to the Housemaid books. This book is so poorly written. I mean, I don't think, like, I'm only one chapter in. I don't mean, like, the story's not interesting. I don't know. I just mean, like, it's not grammatically incorrect or anything like that. It's just very basic writing. It's like a short story you'd read in high school. I'm just like, it's interesting. So, like the Housemaid books, I really liked her Housemaid books. So we'll see if this one holds up. The chapters are real short. They're like 4 and 5 pages each. That's part of the reason why I got it. So I was like, because like physical copy books, I like real short ones. So I read like the first chapter of that. The other book that I got, I was going to start reading it, but the first chapter is like 15 pages. Then it goes to like 3 pages. I was like, no, we'll start this another night. It's a very serious book about this guy, and his son's trying to take his dog away because he's too old to take care of him. Anyway, it's like an international bestseller or something. I've never heard of it before. So I read like some of the James Patterson book, and then I read like 3 or 4 chapters of the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. It was so funny because on my video that I did talking about it on my book, it was either over here or in that video on my BookTube channel. Somebody said, I love this book too, but I kind of got to the point where there was like either date or don't date. Like, I'm so over this. They do go back. My nose is itching so bad. They do go back and forth. Like, in all honesty, if I was Jeannie, I'd kind of be like, you know what? You cannot figure out what the hell you want, so I'm done. Because it does go back and forth. If you read it, you know what I'm talking about. Like, he's like, but is she staying? Is she leaving? If she stays me, she's going to treat me the same way that Lucy treated me. Should I stay? And I don't know. And then, like, I don't know. The whole book is kind of like that. And I'm kind of like, at this point, like, I've literally got like 50 pages left. I know they're going to stay together forever because they've got to. It's a romance. But, I think I have less than 50 pages. I think I have 30 pages. So I'm definitely going to finish it tonight and start the gingerbread one, which now people told me that they hated that one. And when I did the video yesterday, people were like, oh, that was my favorite one in the series. So now I'm real excited about reading it. So I want to read that tonight. I want to finish the September House. I want to take my walk and listen to September House. I want to take a nap at some point. Okay, so then last night, I watched Big Brother last night. I wanted to watch Welcome to Plathville and do a reaction to that today, but I instead opted to get caught up on Life After Lockup. So I watched Big Brother. Ugh. I like even like fast forward and skim through parts of it. I'm so over Big Brother. It just needs to end. Like, it just needs to end. So I finished Big Brother last night. I like fast forwarded through a lot of it, the competitions and stuff. I already knew the outcome, but I wasn't happy with this week's episode. And then I had 1 episode left of Life After Lockup, so I finished that. At that point, I was getting ready to watch Billionaire's Bunker, but I knew that Wayward was coming out. And so, at that point, it would have been like 3:30. I think it was like 3:45, 3:30 or 3:45. Because I went in the kitchen, I was like, oh no, I'm making a cup of coffee for this. Why is my nose itching so bad, but just on one side? Oh my God. Okay, so I was like, oh my God, Wayward came out at 3 o'clock. So I went on Netflix and I was like, because it's the new show with Toni Collette. It's supposed to be real spooky strange. So I have wanted to watch this show so bad. And I was like, no, you cannot start another show. Like, you need to finish The Billionaire's Bunker. I think I have 4 episodes left. So it's like, you need to finish that before you start Wayward. But I really, really wanted to start Wayward. So I was like, I'll wait till Billionaire's Bunker this weekend. It's not going anywhere, right? So I, went and made a cup of coffee, the blueberry coffee, and I was like so excited. So I started Wayward. It's different than I thought it would be. It's good. It's about this, like, it kind of reminds me of The Institute a little bit on HBO, but it's about this school for troubled teens. And it goes back and forth between, so Toni Collette plays like the director of the school. And then it's like this couple that moves to this town called Tall Pines. And then, it's about these 2 girls that are friends, and they get into trouble a lot. I don't want to ruin it for anybody, because I'm like maybe 20 minutes into the 2nd episode. It's good, though. It already feels binge-worthy. A lot happens in the 1st episode. Oh my God. People get killed. It is a lot in the 1st episode. So it's really, really good. So tonight, my plan is I'm going to render this, and then I think I'm going to watch Welcome to Plathville and take notes so I can make that video tomorrow. And then I'm going to binge watch Wayward. I might watch like an episode of Wayward and an episode of Billionaire's Bunker. I'm just going to have so much fun tonight watching shows. I want to take my walk and all that kind of stuff. So Alex has a meeting tonight, some display thing that he had to do. Anyway, he was putting it all together last night. So, but he usually gets home from these like dinner alarms, but this is not the same thing, at 9:30. But tonight he'll be done at 8:30. So he said he should be home between like 8:30 and 9. So when he gets home, I'm gonna wait and take my walk tonight. And then, yeah. So, and then I'm gonna watch. But till then, because I think it'll probably only. If I started this at like 4:25, it's probably only like, well, 5:25 right now. I'm almost at an hour. Am I almost at an hour? What time is it? I can't tell. That is so weird that I was asking and it went, like, was right at an hour. So I'm right at an hour right now. And so I'm going to go inside and start rendering this, take the dogs outside. I haven't heard them at all. When they get up, I usually can hear them, like, because they run down this hallway. I haven't heard them at all, so they're probably like still asleep in there. But I'm going to take them outside, get them dinner, and then take them outside again. And then I'm going to read and watch a show or two. I'm really excited about tonight. So yeah. And then tomorrow, Alex he's got something he's supposed to do. One of his friends just moved into her new house today. She's really excited about that. Kind of an end of one era and beginning of another. So bittersweet. So he's going to maybe go see her tomorrow unless she's working. If he goes and sees her tomorrow, then I probably will film some videos. If not, then I will probably film minimal videos tomorrow. So it just kind of depends on that. And he's going to take me to run a couple errands in the morning before he goes to this appointment that he has tomorrow. So, yeah. And then tomorrow night, our friends that we go travel with, the one that he just went and had dinner with the other night, and they went and watched Heathers. The three of them, so our one friend that owns the cabin, that we went to the cabin, she and her husband just bought a new house, like probably 4 months ago. And so they went out there and saw it, like, before they moved into it. So she invited them. Alex was like, you can come too if you want to come. I was like, it's really far away. It's like an hour from here. I'm like, on a Friday night. I think I got shows to watch. He's like, but I was like, are the husbands going? And he's like, no, the husbands aren't going to, like, maybe her husband might be there watching the kids or whatever. But he's like, I don't think till later. I think actually her husband works. Because he's a doctor. So anyway, I think he's on call. So, but the other husband's not going. So I was like, no, I think I'll let you guys go. But he's like, that's not even definite that he's doing that. And then Saturday night, nothing. We might go to a movie this weekend. I really want to see The Long Walk, but I also want to read the book. And he wants to see The Conjuring. I want to see The Conjuring. Nikki and her son saw The Conjuring, and she said it was really pretty scary. So I want to see The Conjuring, so I can do a reaction to it, but also because I want to see it. There's like 4 movies out right now that I want to see. When The Strangers, I really want to see the new Strangers, too. So, just a nice, relaxing weekend. Just an old-fashioned love song. That's all the words I know. Just an old-fashioned weekend, relaxing, reading. Oh, I gotta get another James Patterson book done this weekend. Nikki and I last night were like picking out like, oh, I wish I had my phone, because she picked out one. It's called like Trick or Treat or something. If you know any specifically Halloween thrillers, let me know. Oh my God, I found this YouTube channel. I love this girl. Is her name Annie? I'll have to share it with you guys. But like, I wouldn't say all of her. She does a lot of thriller reviews too, but like she does a lot of like most anticipated cozy mysteries, best cozy mysteries of 2025. She does a lot of cozy mystery videos. She's younger too. And I love her videos. And yesterday I binge watched like 3 or 4 of her videos talking about cozy mysteries. We like a lot of the same cozy mysteries. But then there's like some series I've never heard of before. She did one of like, I think I found her because I was looking up Christmas cozy mysteries, and she was talking about the newest ones coming out this year. I did not know Jacqueline Frost has a new one coming out this year. Oh my God, I'm so excited. It comes out in October. I'll wait until Christmas time to read it though, but I'm so excited. I remember last year walking and listening to the newest I think she releases one a year. For a while she didn't, because like she lost her publication or publisher or something. She lost her publisher or something. But her books, if you want to read the best Christmas, not just Christmas series, best Christmas cozy mystery series ever, the Christmas Tree Farm Mystery Series by Jacqueline Frost. It is so good. So good. Anyway, but if you have specific to Halloween, not just, oh, it's a scary book, you could read it on Halloween, but it takes place around Halloween, let me know in the comment section below. I already have the Advent calendar countdown starting on October 1st. I'm really excited about that. It's called The 31st Trick-or-Treater. And I have like one other Halloween book. And then Nikki told me this book called Trick or Treat or something like that. I might read that one. We'll see. Sometimes Nikki, we send each other books, and she'll be like, oh yeah, I'll start it, and she never does. And then she'll send me these books, and I'm like, where'd she find this book? Oh, what did she tell me the other day? What is the joke about the book? Now I can't remember it. It would have been so good to end this on a joke. Why can't I remember it? She was telling me about some book she read. Oh, it was like this thing that's going around on TikTok. It's supposed to be like the scariest book ever, and it's 7 pages, and it's called Mary. So did you guys ever see Single All the Way? Jennifer Coolidge is in it. It's like a gay Christmas romance. I love it. It's one of my favorite Christmas movies from a couple years ago. But there's this part when... So, what's her face? Well, I can't think of her name. I just said it. Jennifer Coolidge plays like this aunt that's like an aging like actress off of Broadway. She did like one Broadway play and she thinks she's famous. So she runs a Christmas pageant every year. So there's this part where she introduces Mary and she goes, Mary. And so I keep on sending all these like memes and things like whenever Nikki's like, I'm looking for a really good book. I texted her and I said, oh my God, I heard about this really good book. I'm thinking about reading it, but it's kind of long. And she goes, what's it called? And I go, Mary. 7 pages. I go, was it really that scary? She goes, no, it wasn't scary at all. I don't even know what they're talking about on TikTok. Mary. And then I told her, I said, I read the sequel to Mary. It was called John. It was 8 pages. Anyway. Supposedly today is Happy Daughter's Day, so Happy Daughter's Day to all of you out there. I did not know that until earlier today. So Happy Daughter's Day to you. I think Happy Son's Day is this weekend sometime, so Happy Son's Day to you as well, if you celebrate that. Anyway, I hope you guys, but it is Thursday, so I hope you're having a magically amazing Thursday, and you're getting, if you're watching this and it's already your weekend, I hope you're getting rested, relaxed, rejuvenated, and refreshed for the week ahead by enjoying your weekend. I usually say that on Sundays, but I'm saying it today. I love you guys so much, and if nobody else has told you this today, I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Love you. Happy birthday, Lena.